Hello, and welcome to the First Stitch podcast, where we tell the stories of how everyday quilters just like you got started quilting, plus talk about some other fun quilty things along the way. This is your host, Lisa Donnelly from Wild Plum Lane. Let's get started. Today, we get to meet Lisa. She writes, I live in Germany, and ever since I was able to think and dream consciously, I've wanted to quilt. Now I'm 63 years old, and my quilting journey is still going on. I've made quilts for over 20 years now, and I'm still interested in learning new skills. I also started sewing clothes for my grandchild, which is something out of my comfort zone. In my work time, I'm a teacher, and therefore can't spend as much time as I would like to with my hobby. In addition to quilting, I also like learning new techniques in knitting, cooking new recipes, and learning languages on Duolingo. Unfortunately, there is not enough time to do and experience everything I would like to do. And that is from Lisa. For today's WIP-Finishing tip, take a moment to think about how you can keep your works in progress accessible for you to work on, wherever you are. What do I mean by that? Well, if your sewing equipment is tucked away in a corner of the house, or down in the basement like me, but you have lots of cutting or trimming to do, consider putting a small cutting mat and rotary cutter closer to your main living areas. That could be your kitchen to make progress while waiting for dinner to bake, near a TV watching area to work while you watch, or any other place in your house you frequently inhabit so you can work on it a little bit at a time in a space where you know you'll have a moment to do it. Speaking of making progress a little bit at a time, in my email newsletter, I've shared a little bit about the Farmer's Wife 1930s sampler quilt that I'm working on this year. My goal, rather than to do it all at once, is to complete one 6.5-inch block per week. So far, so good. It really does help to take small steps and make incremental progress. One day, I know I'll look up to find that there's enough blocks for a full quilt. A quick note about the book. What I love about it is that alongside each of the block designs, it shares letters from 1930s farmers' wives discussing what's happening in their lives, from a quilting bee to a trip to New York City. They're so fun to read as it ties us to previous generations and quilting through time. Be sure you're on my email list to get all the latest updates from Wild Plum Lane and photos of my blocks as they're completed. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode of the First Stitch podcast. If you enjoyed listening, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button in your favorite podcast player, write a review on Apple Podcasts, or tell your best quilty friends so they can listen too. By the way, do you have a story to share? Every quilter has a beginning to their story, and we'd love to hear yours. Plus, over the years, you might have picked up tips or tricks you could share with others. It might inspire another quilter, so we want to hear about it. Share your personal quilting journey, your best project finishing tip, or your first stitch moment. Your story might be read on an upcoming episode of The First Stitch. You can submit your story today by sending an email to firststitchpodcast, all one word, that's firststitchpodcast@wildplumlane.com, or use our quick submission form down in the show notes. I can't wait to talk with you again soon.